Good evening. This is Julian. I am pleased to have this opportunity to converse with you and to work with you in the specifics of mind development. Now, let us continue. The very name of this class, Levels of the Mind, is erroneous. For the mind is not layers, levels, but rather an expansion. The mind is a living, breathing entity that expands and contracts throughout the universe constantly. In its expansion, it brings back from the universe fact and truth. In its working within the physical being, it then must discern the manner in which that information will be put into use within that physical world it lives in. And so, if you were to truly picture the mind, you would picture concentric circles getting larger and larger and larger, just as a stone dropped in a pool and the rings going out from it. There would not be layers, but expansion. All right? Every time your mind expands outward, it is also expanding inward. The universe exists both within and without. For everything that exists in the universe, there is a counterpart within the self. That counterpart within the self is triggered and put into functioning order by the conception of the mind, which is the tool used to promote the thinking process. The mind is all. Without the mind, nothing would be created in the universe. But the mind, in order to create, in order to manifest, must have movements. For movement is part of manifestation. And so the mind must constantly be a pulsing, expanding, and absorbing thing. Now, terminology as you use it in your society that speaks of the levels of the mind as the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the superconscious mind. That is terminology to help you understand the transition within the mind of thought, bringing the mind to its fullest use. And it's quite correct to use that terminology. So don't panic if you've been using this to understand the mind. It's still there. But the levels, as you refer to them, are not piled one on top of the other, but concentrically within each other. All are living, breathing parts of the one thing. Therefore, it must be realized that what the conscious mind, the physical aspect of mind, conceives automatically becomes a part of the subconscious mind, and it also affects the superconscious mind. You know, because you can't put something between two other things, whether it be in a circle of expansion or levels, and not have it affect both things. You know, what you put between the bread affects both pieces of bread, you see? And it's the same thing with your mind. Where you permit your conscious mind to dwell will affect the subconscious, which feeds the body, and affect the superconscious, which feeds the spirit. So it is very careful you must be in the physical sense of what you're thinking, what you're setting up as your mode of living. For what that mind is conceiving is affecting all parts of the self. The superconscious is the storehouse or warehouse for the spiritual aspects of the body, and it functions with the pineal gland. And the subconscious is the storehouse for those things that affect the physical being and function through the pituitary gland, the master gland of the body. And the pituitary is the master gland of the body, and the pineal the master gland of the spiritual body, or the spiritual self. And so you have to function with all levels of the mind together in order to fully benefit from the mind. When you have a thought, it is not impregnated only in this subconscious. It is not imprisoned in this cranium that you have to hold the thinking paraphernalia, so to speak, but it is also immediately a part of the universe. What you think affects the universe. It does not only affect you, you see, because as you think, you act, and as you act, your environment changes. As your environment changes, so changes the universe. And so you begin to realize how important your own particular thoughts are.